You doing the extra. It always helps us too to have the artists do some cool stuff, man.
All right, guys, 10 seconds.
Alrighty.
We're looking at a low
I'll
around
introduce us, Eric, and get us
41
started, and then we'll kind of go in from
This has
there.
been your weather forecast from
Sounds like a plan.
WSIC Weather Center.
Good afternoon, Lake Norman, North Carolina. I hope everyone's doing well this wonderful, wonderful Tuesday fall afternoon here in Lake Norman. My name is Justin Dionne here with this week's Know the Scene, your weekly show here to talk about what the scene is in these communities that we live in. What's the scene, man? What do you watch? What are you enjoying? What are you listening to? What are you eating? What are you drinking? Who do you hang out with? Where do you like to hang out? All those things. So that's what makes a scene, and that's what we talk about here. So we're excited, everyone. We got a great show today. Great show for you. We have magician Eric Jones here with us. He's going to join us in just a second. Before we jump into that, I want to just, tell everyone what's going on. So lots going on in the community right now. Hopefully everybody's enjoying all these great kind of fall things happening around here. We got the Ren Fair going on, North Carolina Renaissance Fair, one of the biggest in the country. Make sure y'all check that out. Get your tickets in advance because that fills up. We've got some great performances from our local theater companies, great concerts considering around the area. Kane Center for the Arts, we just had a weekend off last weekend, which was great because we haven't had one of those in like 8 weeks. And we're walking into this great show with Mr. Eric this weekend. Next weekend, we've got Chatham County Line, bluegrass band Chatham County Line next Friday. And then we've got an awesome gospel performance by Trey McLaughlin and the Sounds of Zamar coming that Saturday and Sunday. Trey was on last week. It was great to chat with him. But for today, let's jump right in. Mr. Eric Jones. Eric, welcome to the show.
What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing?
Man, we're good. We're glad you're here, man. Where are you coming to us from today?
So I am currently in Philadelphia, at my home in Philadelphia, still recovering. I just flew home from Fiji, getting off a cruise ship, and boy, are my arms tired.
I love it. That's awesome, man. So yeah, I was wondering if we were gonna catch you, like, if you were gonna be home base and then come in, or are you gonna be on your way? Like I know you're gonna play this weekend, Saturday night for us. Are you gonna play us, and then are you basically hopping and doing us on your way to another ship?
Yeah. So what's going to happen with me is I'm going to work with you all at the Kane Center for the Arts, excuse me, and then I drive back home, or fly back home rather. I've got a couple of local events, and then I'll be flying back to Charlotte the following weekend to speak at a conference.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then one more week, and then I go back to the ships.
So at a conference in Charlotte?
In Charlotte, yeah.
Oh, what conference
It's
is
actually
that?
a magic conference of all things. There's
Really?
a magic convention called the Tri-Cities Magic Convention that's been going on for the past 15 years. I've been lucky to be friends with the guys. They've been asking me to come for years, but I have such a busy performing schedule that I haven't been able to hang out with them. So I found a little gap in my schedule. They were able to accommodate, and I'm going to fly in on Friday. I'll be performing, I'll be speaking at the conference, and then I'll do the evening show at the conference, and then I'll fly back out and I'll go to Amsterdam to film a project.
Wow.
The first week in November.
That's so cool. So there's a magic conference in Charlotte in 2 weeks. Is that about right? I'm guessing 2 weeks, or is it next week?
Next weekend.
Next weekend. Wow, that's awesome, dude. I have to put that on my calendar. Got it.
You should. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
See if you can get me in there so I can come down to that conference. That's awesome, man. Well, so congratulations first off. Like, I gotta say, on your career thus far. I mean, like, it's really cool. Like, for me, like, as I mentioned to you earlier. So just so everyone knows, so I saw Eric our family went on a Disney cruise back in January, and this man, I saw your regular time show in the big theater. This was on the Fantasy, and then even went to the late night show that you did too, because I wanted to see both. And it was great, man. And I was just so impressed with your act and you, and thought it was really great how you blend it all together. And then I looked you up on Instagram, found your agent's information. We got you booked in here. But as I've spent more time later, like, developing as like a fan of yours as well, it's been really cool to go back and research and kind of see some of your journey along the way, which you really have built, man. And that's awesome. Like, congratulations.
With God's help, one brick at a time, man. That's the only way we can do it. That's build it while we fly it. I've had a really interesting journey. I started off. I'm not originally from Philly. I lived in Central Virginia. Was born in
Oh,
Richmond. Grew up in
what?
Central
Richmond,
Virginia.
really?
Yeah,
That's cool,
MCV.
man. That's awesome.
And I grew up right outside of Charlottesville, Virginia. And when I graduated high school, I ended up with a full academic scholarship to Cornell University. I was studying structural engineering, and excuse me, I ended up dropping out my second year to perform magic. Work with a guy named David Blaine,
What?
creating magic.
Yeah, no big
Also got a
deal.
chance to work with Chris Angel.
What? Yeah. Wait, I'm sorry.
Believe
Did
it
you
or
just
not,
drop? Did you just drop? You just randomly like, oh, David Blaine's gonna
well,
drop
that,
David
this
Blaine's
is
name.
not
No big
meant to
deal.
be a mic drop, just telling the
No
story,
big deal. Just David Blaine.
But here's the cool thing. Before I had a chance to be on any television, I wasn't the size I am now. I was actually 322 pounds. My father passed away. He had complications with his diabetes. I didn't
Mm,
know about those complications. So I wanted to take my health more seriously.
mm.
So over a course of 4.5 years, I started losing weight. And when I started losing weight, a lot of people started taking opportunities, giving me opportunities, taking risks on me, and allowed me to be on television. So I've been on TV
Wow.
in 19 different countries.
Yeah.
And that led me to being able to fool Penn and Teller on their TV show,
Yeah.
which got the trophy
That's
right
right. Yeah, I
here.
noticed it. I noticed it.
And I was lucky enough to be a finalist on America's Got Talent. So it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Congratulations. Wow, man. Congratulations on all that. I mean, just
Thank you.
how awesome, man. Like to build a career out of something that you love, out of a discipline, out of an art, right? Like that's one of the things I want to talk as we continue the show today. Like I always like to unpack with the artists that we have on and the folks we have on, like what are the things that took you to where you are, right? Like what are those pieces of your journey that really were
Uh,
keys, right? Because I like to think that there are maybe people listening or moms or dads listening or kids listening or something that maybe somewhere they're like, man, my kid wants to do this, but I think they're crazy. And it's like, well,
yeah.
hang on, like, but listen, like, but just listen. I mean, it can happen, So that's awesome, man. So all right, well, let's if we can. I know you're gonna want. I know you got at least one trick plan for us today, but I want to before we get into those, can we kind of start at the beginning real quick? So tell me at what point. I mean, obviously you didn't just meet David Blaine and get into magic,
No,
right?
no, no. It was a heck of a
Right,
process.
right.
It may be too long to do at the tail end of this segment. But what I do want to say is if you are willing to stay around, I've got a lot of magic planned, not just with the cards,
Oh,
but with time
whoa.
itself.
Y'all, listen, if y'all
It's
are
going to be
not
a lot
on
of fun.
if y'all are not on Facebook Live or Zoom Live right now, pull over the car. If you're listening on there, watch this. The man he just did it. And like it was nothing. That's what I'm saying. Like, Bill, you got to come this weekend. I'm telling Bill he's got to come this weekend. I'm like,
Yes, Bill, come,
you
bring your whole
cannot miss the
family.
show. Like this is gonna be so cool, man. Like to have this kind of talent in
I'm
our
convinced. That was
communities.
awesome. I'll be
Yeah.
there. I'll be there.
Yeah, that was awesome, man. The guy he
Oh,
just turned
thank
it.
you.
Sorry
Thank
for
you.
those.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna I'm forced to do that radio thing, where like he literally just a card just turned into a watch. It just
Oh,
turned
yeah,
into a
yeah.
watch
Forgot,
out in
forgot to
front
do
of us.
that.
He just did it. All right, we're gonna go to a quick break. We're gonna come back, and after the break, we're gonna dive more into Eric's where he came from and how he decided to get into this and where he learned his discipline, and then maybe some more magic too. So don't leave us. Coming right back. This week's Know the Scene.
More Know the Scene with Kane Center for the Arts Executive Director Justin Dionne on the way from the new.
All right, we're good. We're good. You there still?
I'm still here.
Awesome. Dude, that's awesome. I'm so excited to have you, man. Sorry, I'm like geeking out. Like, I just love it. I'm so excited. That's so great.
Magic's a really fun thing. We were talking earlier about trying to figure out how I got started. The truth of the matter is, while I was studying at Cornell, a magician came into the school and gave a lecture about the psychology involved in magic. And he did a
Yeah.
few magic tricks to illustrate his points. I took a few notes on how I thought the tricks could have been done. And then I went to the public library and I checked out all the books that I could find. And I used those books to recreate the tricks that were done on stage. And I got pretty good at them. And I started
That's
sharing them with friends and family, other students. And it got to the point where I said, I want to meet this guy that's fostered this new creativity within me. So I heard he was giving a book signing in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. And I drove down from Cornell and I waited outside of a Barnes and Noble for 4.5 hours, hoping to have my copy of his book signed. Maybe I could meet the guy and then perhaps we could, end up becoming friends. At the end of the 4.5 hours, they started turning people away, me included. But I was really tenacious, so I ran to the front of the line. I asked his publicist if she could introduce me, and she was like, "He's too busy now, but tell me, what do you want to talk about?" And I was like, "I just want to show him this thing that I've created." And she was like, "Well, show me. If it's good, I'll pass it along."
oh,
And I'm like, "Well, that's something that I can share with him. It's something I have to share in person. It's a magic trick." And she was like, "Well, show me." So I ended up doing like 4 tricks that I created for her and like 25 people who were also rejected from the line. And I watched as her pupils dilated, her jaw went slack, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're amazing. He still can't meet you today, but here's my card. Give me a call the next time you're in the city and I'll introduce you." So I was going to go home for spring break. I gave her a call. She gave me an address, and I got to spend 7.5 hours with the guy who changed my life forever.
with that,
And
and that was
his
David
name is
Blaine.
David Blaine.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
But that's so cool, man. It's so cool to hear that he also was like, that he was willing to be generous with his time like that, right?
He was. And the cool thing about that is when I did get a chance to spend some time with him, I showed him all 4 of the tricks, and 2 of them fooled him, even though they were based on things that he showed us at school. And he ended
Oh,
up convincing my family to let me drop out of Cornell to work for him full time.
wow. All right. So you're gonna
I
have
had
to.
no prior magic knowledge.
I'm gonna have to like.
20 seconds.
Yeah, we're gonna come back in a minute, and I'm gonna try to like tease that in, but I really want people to hear that because that's such a cool story, man. And
Know the
like,
Scene
Oh, thank you,
continues.
brother.
so like
Thank you.
we
Here's your
can
host,
abridge it a
Kane
little
Center
bit
the
for
Arts
you so we can keep
Executive
moving. But
Director Justin Dionne
here we go. Are we back?
on
I'm coming in.
105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we're back. We're not gonna let the music play for too long. We're having too much fun today, y'all. I'm not kidding, man. This is so much fun today. I needed this today too, Eric. I gotta tell you, it was a little bit of a day for me here, and getting to chat with you and have some, just the joy of magic, right?
Oh,
Like the
man,
joy
yeah.
of what you do has to be so rewarding for you too, because you just know, like you just said it earlier, and I'm gonna ask you to repeat that story a little bit. But you said you did a trick at some point in your career. I'm not gonna give it away, and you said the woman's pupils dilated and her jaw dropped.
Dropped.
Dude, that is
Yeah.
what you get to do for a living.
It's
Do you know what I
absolutely
mean? Like,
incredible. It's a blessing, man. It really is. What I always say, the way I describe what I do is I, I take your 5 senses and I use them against you to create the illusion of a sixth. And the high that I get from being able to share these experiences with you is unlike anything else on the planet.
wow.
It's a love, and it's not what I do, it's who I am.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. So, all right. So during the break, and by the way, you can, after the show, guys, and those who are listening, you can watch the show later on. It'll be up on YouTube to watch later, so you can see some of the stuff. You also get to see some of the stuff that happens during break if you're listening. Or also you can download and listen to this episode posthumously on the podcasts, Apple Podcasts. So you can catch all this, and then you can rewatch it again and try to see and get fooled over and over and over time again. Because that's always the thing
No,
is
don't watch it again.
yeah,
Don't watch it again.
you always think you can go back and watch him like, I'm gonna catch him this time. You can't catch him, guys. You can't do it.
You can do it frame by frame. You
You
won't see anything.
I love
That's
it.
the point. I
So-
love it. I love it too.
So Eric told
So,
a story.
go ahead.
Repeat that story a little bit for me. You don't have to go. You don't have to say everything you did if you don't want, but repeat that story because I think it's important for audience to hear about. You're at Cornell. You see this guy do magic. You decide you're going to go to New York and meet him, right?
Yeah.
And
So I
and
ended
so
up waiting in
yeah.
line outside of a Barnes and Noble so that hopefully I could show him a couple of these magic tricks that I created based on the things that he showed us in school. Because I went to the public library, took out some books, and I used those books to recreate the tricks that he did on stage. So I was hoping to meet him, but I got to meet his publicist instead, and I showed her the magic. And she was completely fooled. Her, like I said, her pupils dilated, her jaw went slack, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're incredible, but he can't meet you today. So here's my card. The next time you find yourself in the city, look me up, and I'll introduce you." So when I was going to go home for spring break, I gave her a call. She gave me an address, and I got to spend 7.5 hours with David Blaine, the guy who started it all for me. And he ended up convincing my family to let me drop out of Cornell to work for him full time because two of the tricks that I created fooled him, even though they were based on things that I did or that he showed us while I was at school. And that started a great path. I got to work with him for a couple of years. And then I got another call and I got to work with a guy named Chris Angel on a show called Mind Freak. So I got to create some tricks there. And then I ended up doing the same thing for a guy named Dynamo who works out in the UK. He's the official magician for Adidas in the
Wow.
UK. And then one of the things I mentioned is that I was very heavy. I used to be 322 pounds at my heaviest, but my father passed away because of complications with his diabetes. I became diabetic shortly after he
Oh,
passed away, and I
wow.
wanted to take my health a lot more seriously. So now I'm down to 185 pounds. So I've lost well
Congratulations,
over
bro.
100. So
And you holding tight. You
it's
holding
great.
tight?
Yeah,
How do you
it's
do
been
it?
a few
How
years.
do you do it,
A1C is
man,
low.
on the ship like that? Like, I'm sure that, on the ship, being on
Uh,
those cruise ships, how do
Portion
you?
control, brother.
Yeah.
It's all portion control. You have to burn more than you consume.
Yep.
That's the only way. You have to work at a calorie deficit, and that's what I've done for years.
Yeah.
It
Wow.
goes everywhere but the beard.
I know. I was gonna compliment you, by the way, on the absolutely like phenomenal beard action you got going
Oh, bro, I grow it here because I can't grow it
on.
here. So, life is about choices and trade-offs.
It is. I love that, man. I love that. I love your sorcerer, by the way. If you guys are watching, if you're not, Eric wears a sweatshirt that says sorcerer on it, with that hoodie.
Yeah, so I am a huge, I mean, like, huge fan of Marvel. And one of my favorite Marvel superheroes is Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
I'm also really into streetwear, high-end fashion and all
Sure.
that
Yeah.
stuff. One of my favorite brands is Supreme. So this is based on the Supreme box logo,
Oh,
but the
okay.
sorcerer makes this a sorcerer supreme, which
Yeah.
is
Oh, I'm
another
with.
name for Doctor Strange.
I
So
like
it's just,
that.
one of
That's
those
man.
things.
He's sharp too. Well, you don't go to Cornell and not be super sharp, man. So like
Well,
so.
I always tell people I'm the best in my price range.
They, they, how did I mean I love how you got into magic, man. So real quick, let me back it up. Like, who was Eric before magic, right? I mean, were you said you were gotten into Cornell to
Yeah.
study was it engineering?
Structural engineering,
Structural
yes, sir.
engineering, and that's yeah, and that's a very specific type of thing. And that's a lucrative thing as well. I mean, structural engineering is a very
It,
lucrative
it,
career
it
path as
probably
well.
would have been. I always go back and I say to myself, what would have happened had I gone through college, gotten my engineering degree, had tenure at some company? I feel like I'd probably be on my second divorce and I'd be, three kids deep.
Not
But
traveling the world.
I'm very happy. I'm very fulfilled. I'm blessed to be able to do what I love for a living. Not everyone can, work for themselves. So I wake up every day thankful and grateful.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. How so during the time that you were with I guess, take me through the process real quick of like, you see David Blaine perform and something just clicked, huh? I mean, something just in you just clicked and said, I gotta try that.
Well, to really quickly take it back to how I was prior to, getting into magic, I was I would have to say that I was really socially awkward. I'm still a little socially awkward. I'm what they call an extroverted introvert. But I what I really found so special about David was how he was able to completely control an audience. He was able to be himself, but still was a likable character that everyone could relate to.
Yeah.
I was envious of that and how he used magic as the gateway to getting to know all of these people individually, even though he was performing on stage. And I said, I want to be that guy.
Ah.
And then, to be just a little bit vain, I also wanted to use the pickup girls.
Sure, yeah, hey,
So,
nothing wrong with that. Any
six
of
of them
us,
were happy
any
with
I
my belt.
swear, any of us guys that were performers, whether whatever it was we performed in, right? There was always a little bit of that was like, you had to help pick up chicks.
Yeah,
Like
you
that's
gotta
what
you
that's
gotta
what
do something to
that
get
was
over that little
right.
edge
I gotta
above
get
all
it.
the
I'm
competition.
not a football player. I'm not a star basketball player. Maybe theater. Yes, I can do this. All right.
Exactly,
You know.
exactly. So it was a great opportunity for me. One of the things that I learned early on was how to make people care about you instead of the magic. There's an old
Oh,
saying, it's the singer, not the song. 10 people can sing the exact same song, but they're all going to put their own inflection, their tone, their personality into it. And that's what people are going to gravitate towards. Because if they like you, they'll like what you do. And
Yeah.
once I learned that, I was able to put that into a little box to keep for myself, so that as I was creating magic, creating acts, creating shows, the forefront was always about making human connections.
That's amazing. So was that part of? So I love that, man. Like I love that. Is that part of your process? Like as you were growing, right? Was that
Yeah.
something that like you learned from David and you had like sessions with, or was there a point where you like kind of had to? Because I can imagine, like you said, there could be a point where you're really good at magic, but maybe you haven't quite got that stage presence, that stage
Right.
me down, right? How long
Yeah.
did it take for you to like, and how much did you have to really practice at that stage part, creating that stage presence?
Bro, I'm still working at it. I'm 23 years in, and I learn something every single show. Not only about how to perform, but I learn something about me.
Yeah.
I learn about things that I can do better to be a better person, how I can make more meaningful connections, how I can make my tricks more empowering to audiences.
Wow.
That's something that I still strive to do every day. And I don't think it's a process that'll ever stop.
I love
I
that.
think once I stop growing.
I love that, man. No, 100%. Like that's, and that's a common theme I found as I've spoken with, artists that we've had on the show and others too. I mean, entrepreneurs basically, right? I always like, my thing is like artists are entrepreneurs really deep down too.
Yes.
Like a lot of artists are entrepreneurs. And that sense that you're always trying to grow, man, always trying to improve and fix and not fix is the wrong word, but improve upon things.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. So how many tricks would you say right now you have in your repertoire?
That's a really hard question to answer. And the reason I say that it's hard to answer is because I know how to do thousands.
Oh,
I can see a piece of magic that someone else is doing and will know step by step how they went through that process
wow.
and know all the modus operandi. So I know how the trick is done. But there's a big difference between knowing how something is done and being proficient at it.
Yeah.
In the show that you're going to see on the 28th, I think I am doing somewhere between 10 and 11 different pieces of magic within that 70-minute show.
Wow.
But I know maybe twice that I perform on a regular basis. One of my old mentors, a guy named Jeff McBride, said to do one thing well, and you should practice that one thing and do it better than anyone else on the planet. And the one thing that I do better than anyone else on the planet is I am able to perform magic with money.
Oh.
Not Bitcoin, but money. And I'm going to show a couple of really cool examples of that in the show that I think you're really going to enjoy.
Uh-oh, dangerous. That's dangerous. Hide your money. Hide your
Oh,
money.
just don't tell me what pocket it's in,
I know.
because then I've got access.
I love that. So would you say, so yes, you were saying that's one of your areas that you feel you've really focused on is tricks that have to do with money. Now, are we talking coins? Are we talking dollars? Or should I don't want to spoil it. I guess I don't want to spoil it for people.
If it spins, I can manipulate it. But one of the things that
That
I'm
sounds
really
like the
famous
stock
for is
market.
I do. Yeah, that would be cool too. But one of the things that I specialize in, and I'll talk about this during the show as well, is I can anything that I can fit into my hands, I can manipulate. Even something like this little ring. I hope you guys can see that at home for those watching. If I was to take the ring off the finger, I can create the illusion that I can also get it to jump back onto
What?
the hand without the hands ever coming close to one another.
Bill's done, man. Bill's like flipping out. That's amazing. All right, we got to go to break. That was amazing. Right before the break, we'll be right back with more Eric Jones, Know the Scene. That was great. I loved it. I love it.
Know the
So
Scene.
we have
Main Center for
about
the Arts
10 or 12
Executive
minutes
Director,
in this
Justin
next
Dionne,
segment
coming up
Yes.
on 105.9
before we go to another break.
Yes, sir.
So I would say about 6-7 minutes in, I'll show you this.
Okay, great. Perfect. All right, I can time that.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great, man. I really appreciate you, again, taking this time for us. I know you're a really busy guy.
Sorry, Eric. You think it would be better if I kind of removed that lower third, just so that way I could see the whole trick? Do you think that little banner at the
If
bottom?
you put me on screen, let me see how far down you can see.
I can take it
Yes,
off if
please.
I need to.
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that off. All right, cool deal.
And at the end, I'm just gonna pop this guy up.
Oh my dump.
Yeah.
What?
Look, see.
Teach me that.
Oh, it's called Stream Deck, bro.
I know. I want to. That's awesome.
Dude, I love your. By the way, I love. You must be a fan of the Boondocks.
I'm sorry, say
A
again.
fan of the Boondocks.
I love the Boondocks. Yeah, yeah. Actually, my fiance and I were just talking about. We were watching videos of some of the actors.
Oh man, it's a classic. Like when I was in undergrad, like me and my friends we loved. It's such a classic show. Like it's
I
so
love
good.
it.
I
I
heard
love it.
one of your videos the other day had the Boondocks theme on it, and then I
Oh yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
yeah. A
your
remix.
your logo of you looks similar to the animation style of Boondocks.
It does kind
I
of.
don't
I
know
just
if you've
thought about
ever
that.
like it has that kind of feel to me of like maybe one of the artists from Boondocks. I wondered if you would have had them do it, because it just looks
Oh,
like that.
what happened is how much time do we have before we go back on?
Sorry, about 45 seconds.
Okay, yeah. The guy who actually created this for me works for Cartoon Network, and
Ah,
I told him
cool.
I wanted him to make me like if Darkwing Duck, if a magician were to come on a Darkwing Duck.
That's
That's the kind of
awesome.
thing I was looking for, and that's what he came up with, and I love it.
That's awesome. Yeah, it is great. I mean, I remember seeing it on the Disney cruise, like as your background. Are you gonna project that up on when you do our show? I mean, if you want.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, cool.
yes, and the video.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. Awesome. All right, we're back soon, Bill.
About 30 seconds.
Cool. All right, so we'll chat for the first like 5-6 minutes, and then we'll do the trick.
Yeah, I got your
All right.
thing off. Yeah, you're all good.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
What I was going to say is that the one thing that I would have changed, it says tickets available at ericjonesmagic.com. I don't have them available for sale
Okay.
on my
Yeah,
site.
put it on canearts.org.
All right, I'll make that. I'll make that
Sorry,
change.
Bill, if you
Yep.
don't mind. Good
Nope,
catch.
sorry about that. I think I
haven't-
saw a link on. That's my fault.
It's okay, man. It's all good. It's all
It's
good.
not all right. All right, 5 seconds. Have fun,
back,
guys.
Coming back.
Justin Dionne on the new 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right, we are back on Know the Scene with a really, really fun show today, guys, with Mr. Eric Jones, magician and performer, comedian in a way too. Yeah, yeah, you know, you're a funny guy. You seem like you're a funny guy. A showman, a true showman. Here today. Excited to have Eric. We've been having a great time. Little magic. We'll talk about his journey and career. So Eric, I'd like to talk a little bit in this section before, and just so everyone knows, we're going to talk a little bit, and then we're going to do a little bit more magic. So again, get that. If you zoom on your computer, turn on your computer and watch. So you train under David. Train under David Blaine. Maybe that's the wrong word, you know. But you know, you work with David. Work with them. You
Studied
know,
under him. Yeah.
and yeah, study and everything, and have a great career. How do you end up on? Tell me about your journey of some of the highlights, some of the things you mentioned. I mean, I see we talked about your plaque back there, your statue you got for fooling Penn and Teller.
Oh yeah.
Right. You did
yeah,
America's
yeah.
Got Talent. Like, what were those? Tell me a little bit through those experiences. Like, what were those like? How were they for you as a performer to go through?
So the reason that I ended up going through these situations is completely different than I expected. As a person who was performing behind bars and nightclubs, tableside and restaurants, I would perform for small groups of people. And I got really good at that. And I found that because I didn't have any media, any press, I wasn't able to get the rates that I felt I should be
Sure.
getting. So I went on to a couple of television shows in America just to get that press.
Right.
One of the shows was a show called Wizard Wars that had Penn and Teller on the show as judges. And the idea is that a couple of magicians get together, two teams of magicians, and the judges give you a couple of random props, and you have to take these props and create an act. Whoever gets the best act wins, and they get a chance to challenge the judges. So I went on that show with my good friend Joshua Masato, who's a fellow Philadelphian, and they remembered me when they were looking for people to audition for a show called Fool Us,
Oh,
which is
cool.
where magicians go on to the show that's hosted by Penn and Teller. And your goal as the magician is to try to use your favorite piece of magic to fool them If you do, you get a really cool trophy just like this. And I got
Yeah.
really lucky and fooled them. But I didn't go on to the show expecting to fool them. I went on again just to get a quick piece of media that I could use to try to raise my rates. And I got lucky. The video went a little viral. I got a lot of traction. I was able to get a lot of good corporate work out of that. And I was then approached by America's Got Talent. America's
Oh,
Got Talent
nice.
said, we saw you on this Penn and Teller show. We can tell that you can handle yourself in front of a crowd. What we would like to do is rather than putting you in the general cattle calls, which is whether you go up to a big civic center or a big arena
Right.
with thousands of people and they audition for some of the producers of the show. And then if your good audition happens there, then they allow you to go to the live shows, well, the recorded shows that are filmed with the celebrity judges.
Sure.
But because I'd done so well on the Fool Us show, they said, we won't put you through the cattle call. We'll give you an opportunity to be on television. We won't say that you'll get through, but we'll give you the opportunity to do what you do in front of all four of the celebrity judges. If you do well, then we'll go from there. And I'm like, oh, cool. This is going to be amazing. So even if I just get 10 or 15 seconds
Yeah.
to say, as seen on America's Got Talent,
Done.
then that's great. That's more than I've done in the last 10 years. Let's make it work. And it just so happened that they enjoyed it enough to allow me to go to the judge cuts, even though Simon Cowell didn't like my first act. He said the magic was good, but he says, we're looking for $1 million act. I don't think you're it. And what
Oh,
he was looking for was more bravado. Because I'm an extroverted introvert, I'm a little bit more subdued, a little bit
sure.
more chill. I'm not screaming to the bleachers
Yeah.
trying to get people to pay attention. I want you to lean in and listen to what I have to say.
Right.
So he gave me a no. The other three judges gave me a yes, but it was enough to get me through to the judge cuts. And my entire judge cut audition was made to make Simon Cowell like me. And that's the reason why I smashed the buzzer to find the card that Chris Hardwick, the guest judge, signed. And the card was found inside, and that video went completely viral.
That's
And
amazing.
that's what got me into the live round so that America could judge me. And it led to me being in the top 12 out of 350 acts.
Wow. That's amazing, man. Congratulations. So like, yeah, so that's a big obviously like you said, I mean, getting those opportunities is big for with the resume in a way, right? Of course, like, and get
Yeah.
you those media pieces, like you said, and exposure and tags that can help you book those next gigs. I want to make sure I'm mindful of time. Do we need to, is it time, Bill? All right. I think it's time. All right. We're gonna, let's do some magic. Warm up them hands.
All right. So this entire time before the show started, I placed an envelope right here. Inside of this envelope, as you can see, there is a single playing card. That is going to be my commitment, Justin, to your individual astonishment. I'm not going to touch it until the end. That's my promise to you. We're going to start with a deck of playing cards. Now, I need you to know that each and every one of the cards that I am holding, they are all different. That's going to mean something in just a moment. I've taken the liberty, though, of placing two black kings here on top of the deck. I'm going to leave those sitting there. Now, Justin, if it's okay, as I go through the cards, I just want you to say the word stop at any time. And wherever you say stop, that'll be your card.
Stop.
Now, that's why I heard stop. Is that okay if we stay here?
Yeah,
or would you like to drop a few more
that's
cards?
fine.
Your choice.
No, we can stop there.
Okay, so I'll leave that card aside. Let's see what you got. Ooh, that is a really good card. The King of Hearts. Now, the truth of the matter is I cheat for a living. So I could have another King of Hearts just like this somewhere in the deck. But Justin, if it's okay with you, what I'd love to do is ask you a couple of personal questions. And I'll place the answer to those questions here on this card. That way, even if I had another card just like it, it wouldn't have your unique information on it, making it the only card like it on the planet. Justin, does that sound cool?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Let me ask you a first initial question. Do you happen to have a middle name?
Yes.
What is your middle name?
Albert.
Albert. Albert. Are you named after anyone in your family, or
My
were
middle
your
name
parents
is
fans of Fat Albert?
Yeah. My middle name is a tradition, firstborn son. Middle name is
Oh,
Albert.
nice. So for several several generations,
Yes, and
Albert is the
I'm
middle
ending
name
it
of
because
every
I
kid.
had a daughter, so it's no more tradition for me.
Well, it could be Alberta.
Good point.
You know.
I didn't think about that.
Is it okay if I dig a little bit deeper?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. let me ask you this: did you happen to have any siblings growing up?
Yes.
Brothers, sisters? How many do you have?
There are 4 of us total, so I have 3
Four
siblings.
total. And where are you in the line?
I'm the eldest.
You're the oldest. Oh, that's cool. So out of the 3 younger siblings, who's your favorite?
I'm on the radio, sir.
You're
I
not
can't
listening.
say that.
It's just you and me here.
Do I really have to say that?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh
Just
man.
they're not listening.
All right, I'm gonna make up. No, I'm gonna say Crandrew.
Crandrew. That's is that really your brother's name?
No, I combined two of the names of my brothers.
Okay. So you cheated.
Yes,
Okay, I get it. Crandrew. Okay, I've got that here. Crandrew.
Crandrew.
Crandrew. That's cute. That's cute. So when they watch this back, they're
I
gonna
know,
wonder who the heck is
that's what
Crandrew.
I'm saying. When they watch it back, I don't got to get in trouble.
They're gonna say, "Mom didn't tell us something."
That's right. That's right.
And also, if you don't mind, just for the purposes of this particular experiment, what are the last 4 digits of your social security number?
Yeah, I'm gonna make that up.
Oh, you're gonna make something else up. We were getting off to such a good start. You, me, and Crandrew.
I know. You're pulling that Philly magic on me right now.
All right. What are those last 4?
3,
3,
3,
3,
7,
7,
9.
9.
Niner.
Complete lie.
Yeah.
But that's what we'll go with.
Yes.
So there's absolutely no way that I would have known that you were going to choose the King of Hearts. There's no way that I would have known your real. Well, is that really your middle name?
It is really my middle name.
Okay, because everything else is a lie.
I know. No, the Crandrew's not a lie. It's just a combination.
Awesome. So there's no way I would have known any of this information. Now, let me ask you this: are you a fan at all of science?
Yeah. When I have to be.
Excellent. Then let me know this. Have you ever heard the saying before that matter cannot be created or destroyed?
Yes.
You have. Excellent. Have you also heard that it can't occupy 2 places at once?
Absolutely.
Folks, I want not only Justin, but everyone at home to keep your eyes on all 3 of those cards, especially Justin's King of Hearts. I'm going to do this in super slow motion so that you don't miss a thing. Watch as that card completely vanishes,
What?
leaving
What?
nothing in my hands. But remember at the very beginning of this, I said that I'd placed a single playing card inside of an envelope that's been sitting here since before this interview started. And I mentioned I would not touch it until the very end.
You did. Yeah, she went actually, yes. So, and you guys could go back and watch from the very beginning that card that's been sitting there the whole entire interview.
It has been here the entire time.
Yes.
But this, my friends, is the end. Wouldn't it be incredible if inside of this envelope, this single playing card, wouldn't it be incredible if this was Justin, your King of Hearts, with your middle name, the amalgamation of 2 of your brothers' name, and your fake social security number? Wouldn't that be incredible?
Yes, it would absolutely be incredible.
Well, today is a
What?
good day.
That is crazy. I can't.
Off the show. Get off the show.
This
Get out of my house.
This is witchcraft.
That's,
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Get out of my house.
Like literally, that's been sitting there. Sorry, Bill's over here. Bill loves our show, by the way. Not that all the shows on this radio station aren't great, but Bill's like, guys, I don't like this is awesome. That was amazing.
Thank you, brother.
That was
Thank you,
absolutely amazing. How cool, man.
glad
I'm
you
so
enjoyed it.
yeah, dude. Like I said, I'm so glad I get to chat with people like you. All right, we're gonna go to a break and we're gonna come back with the final session here with Eric. Tickets are on sales now, guys. Come on, go get them tickets now if you're not already got them. Know the scene. Come right back.
Know the scene.
That was so cool.
Thank
I
you,
love
bro.
that
Thank
shit,
you.
dude. Dude, my wife, we were watching your show on the boat, and and you did one of your tricks, and my wife literally yelled out, "It's gone! It's gone!" Like she just yelled. She's like, "What? What's going? It's witchcraft!" Like it's great.
I mean, what's crazy is I can confirm I've seen him since he joined the meeting.
Yeah.
That card has been there that entire envelope scenario has been there the entire time.
Yeah.
So
Like,
Yeah, I don't know.
The
I don't know about
whole
that.
time, man. The whole time. Like, yeah, like since he even logged on.
Right.
Like
Correct.
it was just there. That's so
Correct.
Oh man, Eric, we got like the most comments we've ever had on one of our live feeds
Oh,
right now.
nice,
Way to
nice.
go. Guy says he's bringing his son. He's going to be blown away.
Absolutely.
Bill's mom likes it.
Always.
Bill's mom is great. She listens every week and comments.
You said
Hey,
Bill's mom. Okay, Bill's mom. Okay, cool.
yeah, Bill's mom. Bill, do you want to try a ticket giveaway in this last segment?
We absolutely can.
If people
yeah.
call in, someone
Yeah.
calls in, see if they
Yep.
have a question for. Are you okay with answering a question from a caller if they
course.
call in?
Of course.
Cool, awesome, man, awesome. Is there anything else so this last segment kind of I use it as a little like a wrap up to promote the show, usually to talk about what the show is going to be like. I don't want you to give away everything because that's part of the fun of it, right? But also like anything else you want to plug. Imagine the end of Hot Ones, where where basically I'm like, hey, you got the mic. What do you want to push, right?
Okay.
I'd also love if we have time to hear about, man, so like the career side of this, the business side for a minute of, like how do you balance out shows like us and like, cause we really appreciate you coming. I know we're a tiny place. I mean, we're a tiny little place, but your willingness to come and play little tiny places like us versus, God, you're on Disney Cruise Lines, man. You're doing these big corporate things. You're on Penn and Teller. Like, what's your approach to that from an artist and a business standpoint,
Okay. Okay. Happy to answer any questions.
Thanks again for doing this for a whole hour. I know it's a lot of time out of your day.
Oh no, it's no problem at all. I didn't know what to expect. Had I known, I would have arranged a little bit more magic than what I just have here.
Oh,
Because some
dude.
things take a little bit of time.
No, that's okay, but that's okay. Like I like the tease of it, like just a little bit on the show, but I like getting to really chat with you, and
And
people getting to hear your
at
story.
at the very end, I'll plug the show because I've got a little one quick little moment that I'll do with one hand
Perfect.
to just tell people when the show is,
How
where they
much
can buy
time?
tickets.
How much do you want me to like cut it a certain time
It's
again?
10 seconds. Ten
Okay.
seconds at the tail end, and they'll just literally to come see me at the magic show on today's date, 8 p.m. Go to canearts.org to buy tickets.
Awesome.
10
Perfect.
seconds. 10 seconds.
Perfect. Thank you. And Tim, by the way, has been great to work with. Your agent Tim,
I
he's
love
been
Tim.
fantastic.
I
I ended up
wouldn't
booking
be-
like 2 other acts of his too. I called him about you, and he booked 2 others for me. Yeah.
Nice. He's got some good ones.
He
He's got
does.
some really good ones.
All right, we're back. Our last session right now with Eric Jones. Just so much fun today, man. Again, I know I did it during the break, but I got to do it on air, man. Just thank you so much for coming
Oh.
on the show, man.
It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to hanging out with everybody this weekend. Just thank you for having me, man. Seriously.
Yes, thank you. Been a great joy chatting with you today, hearing your story. Something I wanted to talk about before we in this last segment, and then I think Eric might have a little bit more magic for us is. Sorry. Before we do this, by the way, if anyone's listening right now and would like the chance at tickets to this weekend's show with Eric Jones at Kane Center for the Arts, you can call in this last segment 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. And talk to Bill. And if you have a question for Mr. Eric, you can get on air real quick and ask him a question, and then we'll get you some tickets to this weekend show. So call in sometime during this segment, 844-788-3464. So while we're waiting on the phones to ring, Eric, one thing I was saying in the break is I'd love to hear from a business side for a minute. How do you balance out in your career path right now? Because you have an agent, right, who helps book your shows and everything. I mean, you're on Disney Cruise Lines. It seems like pretty. I mean, is that like your regular gig at this point? Like it keeps you really, really busy?
Disney takes up literally half of my year, 26 weeks a year since 2017.
That's
And
amazing.
they have treated me very well. I've gotten really good, consistent work out of them. They've given me a platform to grow as an artist, and it's been invaluable. But the way I really balance things is through my manager. I found a good
Oh.
manager, a guy named Tim Grable with the Grable Group, and he's been kind enough to show me the ropes of the business because prior to him, I was doing it all myself. I was booking everything. I was booking all the travel. I spoke to the clients, did everything. And having someone in your corner, like a good manager, is probably the best investment you can make in yourself if you are an artist, especially a guy like me who's a magician. Um, The truth of the matter is, I remember my father telling me when I was much younger, son, hire people or put people in positions to work with you who are smarter than you.
Yeah,
Never be the smartest person in the room.
that's right.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So because my father said that, I definitely have people like Tim, my manager, who are able to do things that I can't. So I don't have to worry about um, a lot of where my booking's coming from. I no longer have to negotiate rates. All I have to do for the most part is make sure that I stay healthy enough to be able to do the shows and constantly evolve the show so that it
Yeah,
gets better and that I get better as an artist.
that's
And
awesome.
for the most part, my manager takes care of everything, so I don't have to.
Do you have
It's
a
an incredible
favorite?
arrangement.
Do you have a favorite type of venue?
I've never been asked that question before.
Aha!
Uh, I would have to say no. I think every type of venue has both its own benefits and its own challenges. The larger venues are great because if the audience is lively, it makes you feel like a rock star.
Yeah,
But it limits the kind of magic that I can do because even if I have a camera and I have the huge screens and all of that stuff,
right.
not everything plays well for a camera because it's like doing TV when you're doing that. So I have to limit the kind of magic I can share. Then with the small venues, if I only have a certain amount of people, if they don't all come together as an audience, then they're kind of fragmented and it has its own challenges. So no, I wouldn't say that I have a particular venue. I enjoy overcoming the challenges that each type of venue brings.
And that's kind of neat about the Disney gig too, and only because I saw you in both spaces. Like I saw you in their big theater, and then saw you in their intimate club, club space
And
later
even
at
that club
night.
space is for 400 people.
Gosh, I didn't realize it
So
was
that's
that big.
still, yeah, yep.
Wow.
Well, more
Yeah.
like 350. I apologize. I
No,
misspoke.
it's
About
but
350.
wow, I didn't even think it was that big. And both shows were phenomenal. And you did different things for each show too, which is
Yes.
like I could see exactly what you're saying with that. We actually have another act coming in the spring. We're announcing our spring season this coming Thursday at Kane Center, by the way, little plug. But we're bringing in an act called Buckets and Boards.
Oh,
And
I love buckets and boards.
they said they knew you. They said
I
they
love
were like,
buckets.
we're big fans of Eric, man.
Yeah, they. I've been working with buckets and boards for about 4 years now, and I think they're out in Branson,
Yes.
Missouri. And they are, if for guys who don't know who they are, they're like percussionists, but they like play, they tap dance, they play the flute out of their
Yeah.
nose.
That's
They
hilarious. It's great, dude.
literally play buckets with drumsticks, and they're hilarious.
I was
They're
telling someone it
absolutely
was like
hilarious.
it's kind of like Smothers Brothers, like modern
A
day
modern
mixed
Smothers
with
Brothers.
like the
That's a
Blue
great
Man
way to
Group.
put it.
Like, you know what I mean? It's
I
kind
love
of
that.
my vibe. Like this I got from them. Yeah, but that's so cool that like y'all had it because they did Disney cruises too, and that you guys had that little bit of
Yeah,
that camaraderie there. I thought was neat.
they're
So
incredible.
so what's next on the plate, man, for Eric Jones? I mean, obviously Kane Center's coming. You got your convention in the next week, but like what else is what could people be on the lookout for from you?
So what I would always suggest people do is follow me on social media at Eric Jones Magic. I'll throw my social media right here. I hope you guys can see it. Oh, it's blocked a little bit,
Yeah,
but I'll,
we
I'll
can
throw it
see
up
it.
again at the end. Oh, boom, there we go, boom. So yeah, follow me at Eric Jones Magic on all the social media platforms, every place on the interweb, and I follow back. Um, I post where I'm going to be publicly every month so that you always know what's on my calendar. I do quite a bit of corporate, so those are private events, as are birthday parties, anniversaries, those types of celebrations. So any place that I'm public where you can come buy tickets to come see me, I post that every single month. But if you follow me on social media, but I do have quite a full schedule
Yeah.
until February. So I don't have a lot of room for any other engagements, 1 or 2 dates in December. But outside of that, I've been very blessed, very fortunate that life and work has kept me pretty busy.
Is
But
one
again,
of
follow me on those social medias and you'll be able to see everything where you might be able to come see me.
is one of those dates a wedding? Because I know,
No.
sorry, I know you mentioned you had a fiance, so is
Yeah.
one of those dates your wedding coming up
No, that's in the future.
in the future?
That's
Got it.
being astral projected.
I see. I see. All right, got it. That is in the future. In the future. Got to keep busy right now working, man. I love it. What so also help people understand. I mean, I know people hopefully have been, if you've been listening, been watching, you got a little bit of a peek, but without giving away too much, again, tell folks kind of what is a show. As I said, this is the first time we presented anything like this in this community, in these areas, right? Here north of just north of Charlotte. What can people expect, man? What man, well, it's a magic show. What does that mean? You know, like what can they expect from an Eric Jones show?
So if you've never seen magic live and in person, then you're used to watching it either on television or from the small screen on your phone. So when you're watching magic like that for the first time, you're saying to yourself, he's got something up his sleeve. He's got someone involved, like they're a stooge, they're in on it. But the show that you're going to see at the Kane Center for the Arts on the 28th, you'll be able to take part in each illusion. You'll be able to get a behind the scenes look at some of the pieces of magic.
Oh, cool.
You'll be able to see that there are no stooges, there's no trick photography, nothing but sleight of hand with my 10 fingers, a little cunning, a little creativity, a little bit of humor to help keep you from seeing all the stuff that's going on. So if you're the kind of person who absolutely loves magic, you can't get enough of it, you're a big fan of magic, please show up to the show. It's going to be absolutely amazing. If you're one of those people who's a skeptic and says magic isn't real, I also encourage you to come to the show and do your best to catch me.
Oh, man, just drop the gauntlet. He said it. He said, catch me. He said, do it. Catch me. I love that, man. I love that. He said, catch me. I dare you. I dare you. I love that, man. I love that. I'm excited. Hey, and is it a family-friendly show?
100%. All the shows that I do, even when I work in comedy clubs, they're family-friendly, like a dry bar comedy club. There's no blue humor. There's no politics. It's just very clean fun that you can bring, whether you're 3 or 83. Everyone's going to have a good time.
I love that, man. I think we could all use a little disconnect from all the politics and everything around. Seem to work our way into everything now, right? So it's, yeah, man. It's good to not. So that's all I'm gonna say about it, because I don't even want to work it in. Awesome. So we got a great show. Eric Jones again this weekend. Kane Center for the Arts. Get your tickets, guys. KaneArts.org. KainArts.org. Bring your kids, bring your neighbors' kids, bring your neighbors, bring your mom and them, as we say down here, down south, bring your mom and them. And just come have a great time. Eric, I cannot thank you enough. We got just like, what, a minute left, about a minute and a half. Sorry, I've been vamping a little bit here. So yeah, thank you again, Eric, for doing the show, man. It's great hearing your journey, hearing about kind of how you've taken this thing that inspired you. Like seeing a performer that inspired you, taking that, learning it, studying it yourself, and growing it into what is really, man, again, an impressive career that I'm a fan of. I'm excited to see where you go with it. We're excited to have you this weekend. And I hope folks will come out. Also next week, guys, on the show next week, we are going to have Chatham County Line here on Tuesday to promote their show for next weekend. We got right at 30 seconds left. Eric, you get the last word.
So again, guys, I really appreciate you allowing me to hang out with you here on the show today. Make sure that you buy your tickets, because you're going to be able to see really cool magic with me, Eric Jones. The date, of course, is October 28th at 8 p.m. Make sure you come hang out. Peace and out. God bless.
That's it. God bless everyone. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you this Saturday. Kane Center for the Arts, Eric Jones. Come get some magic on. Let's go, guys.